All right, so this is a video on how to find the intersection points for a circle and a line. So where does a line intersect our circle? So our circle equation is x squared plus y squared equals 9, and our line equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So the first step is to solve the system of equations. You are going to substitute the right side of your line equation into y in your circle equation. So we'll have x squared plus, and then instead of y, we're going to copy the right side of that equation for our line. 1/2 x plus 3 squared equals 9. Then I'm going to FOIL everything out. So 1/2 x plus 3 squared is 1/2 x plus 3 times 1/2 x plus 3. So 1/2 x times 1/2 x is 1/4 x squared. 1/2 x times 3 is 3/2 x. 1/2 x plus 3 is 3/2 x. And then 3 times 3 is 9. So you can't forget, a lot of people have been doing this, forgetting to pull down the x squared and whatever is on the right side of your equation. Okay, next, after I FOIL and expand everything out, I want to combine my terms. So I'm going to combine my x squared terms. X squared, so 1 x squared plus 1/4 x squared is 5/4 x squared. 3/2 x plus 3/2 x is 1/2, 1/2, that's 3x. Plus 9 equals 9. And then the last thing is you want to get anything that's left on the right side of the equation, you want to move it over to the left. So I'm going to subtract out the 9. And those are going to cancel out. But I'm just going to leave it be as 0. Equals 0. So the end goal, after you FOIL and expand and combine my terms, your final equation should look like this: ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That's a standard form for a quadratic equation. Oh my gosh, our equation looks exactly like this. So we want to identify a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of your x squared term. So our a is 5/4. A is 5/4. B is the coefficient of your x term. So in our equation, B is 3. And then if you have a whole number remaining or anything else, a constant, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a whole number. It could be a decimal. It could be a fraction. A constant doesn't have a variable attached to it. That's your C. So in our situation, it's 0. That's why instead of just making this disappear, I just went ahead and put 0. So I would know that C is 0. So once you've identified A, B, and C, you are going to plug them in to the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So you're going to have two answers. One where you're going to do plus the square root, and one where you're going to do minus the square root. So we're going to plug a, which a into the formula here and here. We're going to plug b into the formula here and here. And you're going to plug c into that formula here. So when we plug this into our equation, we are going to have x is equal to negative b, which is negative 3, plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 5/4 times 0 all over 2 times 5/4. So you're going to actually go type this into your calculator twice. You're going to plug this into the calculator twice. Once where you're going to do plus the square root, and again we're going to do minus the square root. So a couple life hacks. If you press the green alpha button and then the gray y equals button and then enter, it gives you these little fraction boxes. So you can type all of the numerator into the top fraction box and the denominator into the bottom fraction box. Another pro tip is when you're squaring something, if it's a negative, you need to put it in parentheses. I mean, it's not a bad habit to put it in parentheses regardless, but you do need to make sure that if it's a negative and you're squaring a negative, you're squaring the whole thing. So you got to put the whole thing in parentheses. So you're going to type this once in your calculator with a plus sign right here. So -3 plus all of that stuff, all of it over 2 times 5/4. And that is going to give me x equals 0. So I'm going to have 2 points where my circle intersects my line. 2 different points, 2 different ordered pairs. So one of them is going to be 0, something. Okay, then I'm going to take this and plug it back into my calculator, but this time instead of plus the square root, I'm going to do minus the square root. And when I plug that in my calculator, I'm going to get x equals -2.4. So my second point is going to be -2.4, something. And so now my grand finale is I am just going to plug my x values back into the equation of the line. The equation of the line, if you remember, was y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So I'm going to take x is 0 and plug that in. And that will give me y is 3. So when x is 0, y is 3. So that's my first point, 0, 3. And then I'm going to repeat that process, except I'm going to plug in x equals -2.4. That was my second x value. So when I plug that in, I'll get 1.8. So that is my second point, my second y value for my second point. So I should have 2 points. You can go verify it with your graph. Your line is going to intersect your circle in 2 places.